Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Wave. If you were deterred by the last 2 weeks of crypto markets, where it's been a complete bear market, a bloodbath in both crypto stocks as well. But if that has sort of deterred you from getting into the crypto space or believing in it, then I think this video is something that you should definitely watch. In fact, yesterday I was at an alumni event which had top entrepreneurs from around the country, and I was so surprised to find more skeptics than believers, even in such a high, tech savvy group in Bangalore. I was extremely surprised. I came across this report today. It's called a Bitstamp Crypto Pulse. What they've essentially done is surveyed about 5,500 institutional and 23,000 odd retail investors to get you a barometer of the trust and adoption of crypto, right? So if the last 2 weeks were something that is making you not believe in it, then this report will probably change your mind. This will try and explain what are people around the world thinking, and especially the trust and adoption of crypto for the next 5 to 10 years. So let's go through this report and see what exactly are have they come up with. And just to give you a background, Bitstamp has been the oldest and I think longest continuously running crypto exchange in the world. I think they've been in existence since 2011 or something. So if they have tried to put together something, I'm sure we can trust it because they probably are in the space longer than almost anyone or any crypto exchange in the world. So let's quickly go through it, see what they have to say. Now, who are these guys they actually spoke to, right? So, the surveyors they spoke to people who have at least some idea of crypto, so they're not complete noobs. So the results are not skewed. These are people who have at least heard of crypto in the last 1 or 2 years, and that's the crowd they sort of spoke to. Among them, like the retail investors, about 55% were male, 45% were female, and they also spoke to a lot of institutional investors. You can also see the average age and the breakup by age group, right, on who they spoke to. So a fairly decent crowd from probably 16 years to over 55, 60 years of age. Of course, the majority belong to the 25 to 44 kind of a bracket, average being around 37 in retail and 35 in institutional. So, a fairly decent crowd, well diversified. So, let's see what their opinions are on this. So, if you look at their perceptions, right, the first and the most important thing that we should probably look at is trust. How many people among this crowd actually trust in cryptos? And if you look at the overall trust percentage among retail investors, it's almost 67%. Two-thirds of the retail investors have some sort of trust in cryptos, and more than 70% of institutional investors have trust in cryptos. And this number is important, right? If more and more institutional investors start trusting in cryptos, it means institutional money will flow into it, which means the market is going to expand greatly in the next few years. So this is a big number to watch out for. I just wanted to call out one thing. In this report, they have actually mentioned in this line here that underbanked population is much higher in countries like India, Mexico, and Nigeria. So this seems to be completely off. In fact, India has 100% banking coverage in terms of at least one account per household. The same number for America is like 94%, right? So we're much ahead of America in that number. If you look at individuals, then more than 80% of Indians who are over the age of 15 have a bank account. That number is around 90% in America. So India is not unbanked or underbanked. Most people, or at least 100% of households, have a bank account, and I think somewhere the people sitting and writing these reports should understand ground reports as well. So just wanted to call that out. So hope they hear it out. Now let's get back to the report, right? If you look at the correlation between trust and knowledge, right? So when you trust something, you most likely are going to trust something when you have some knowledge about it, and these graphs tell you exactly that. So among the countries, for these are for institutions, among in countries where they feel the crowd that had little knowledge, if you see the trust percentages, most countries are most of this crowd is somewhere towards the 50% mark. But as the knowledge level increased, so people who claim they are somewhat knowledgeable, their trust had drastically increased. And those who are very knowledgeable, if you look at that crowd, almost everybody is over 70% trust in cryptos. Right? What does this mean? This means that if you are able to acquire knowledge on cryptos, then you will understand that it is not a scam. Right? Of course, there might be many scams that are happening in the crypto space, but the technology itself has potential, right? And that is important. So when you start learning about it, that is when you start trusting in it, and that's when you're most likely going to start investing in it. So the first step for you to get into the crypto space is get the knowledge of the space. And there's one peculiar thing, right? Let's look at this. If you look at the country in all three graphs, which is having the highest trust, right, with whatever knowledge levels, they're having the highest trust. It's actually Nigeria, right? And why is that? Because Nigerians, or even if you look at some of the other countries, this is Argentina, Brazil. So all the countries which have which are sort of at the higher end of the trust spectrum in cryptos are actually countries that have some form of an issue in their financial system in their country. Right? Argentina has high inflation. Nigeria, financial penetration is not really great. Crypto is making a huge difference to people in these countries. I personally spoke to somebody from Argentina a while back, and he was explaining how a lot of his friends, relatives, cousins, whatever, are all investing their money into cryptos because they feel that's safer than even their own native currency. And this is a phenomenon, right? It is happening, and we will see a lot of adoption happening in countries where there is low financial penetration or low trust in their own financial systems. And conversely, that's true if you look at the big countries, Japan, Australia, France, Italy. All of them are at the other end of the spectrum, right? You have Nigeria and South Africa and Brazil on one side, Argentina on one side, but Japan and all these developed countries are trusting less. Right? It makes sense because they are more secured with their own financial systems that's already there. And the same number sort of goes for the retail investors. Now, there are some numbers around regulation, but let's look at something that is very interesting, which will impact your life and which will be a big indicator for the future. Among institutional investors, the biggest reason for them for not yet investing in cryptos is because they feel the risk and volatility is too high, right? Uh, and the second, and it's not that they're saying the regulation is not there in the industry. There's not enough regulation. That's actually second. Right? I honestly thought regulation would be the biggest barrier for institutional investors, but that's the second reason. In India, crypto is too new. That's what institutional investors feel, and hence they are not invested in it. In some other countries, unsure of which platform to trust and want to start but not sure where to go to. These are the reasons. But among retail investors, it's completely different. People don't care about risk or volatility or not enough regulation. The biggest reason for people not yet investing into cryptos among retail investors like you and me is because they don't know enough to start with, right? As and when education of and awareness of crypto spreads among this crowd, you will see huge influx of retail investors coming in and beginning to purchase into cryptos. Right? This can happen very quickly. Right? There are podcasts, YouTube videos. The media is talking about it. People are talking about this in everyday conversations. Awareness levels are definitely increasing. There are more and more evangelists. There are more and more experts in smaller groups in different cities, in different communities who are talking about it, educating their friends and family about it. And it is it's not far away when more and more people are aware about it, and this reason starts disappearing, and these folks start investing in it. Right? Risk is actually the second biggest factor. Unsure of which platforms to trust is the third biggest. Uh, the fourth biggest is want to start but not sure where to go. While we have crypto exchanges in most countries, there are still countries where this is still a developing phase, and hence probably that is one reason. Although I'm surprised to see that as the top reason in India because there are so many crypto exchanges here. And the last reason was I don't have enough funds to invest. Now this is also a reason why many people have not invested. But when these people realize that you don't need money to own a crypto, right? There are many ways to get into the crypto space even without using your own funds, right? There are play to earn games. There are play to move. There are move to earn tokens. There are games where, like Axie Infinity, on which you can earn crypto tokens by just playing a game. As more, and there are airdrops, of course. So as more and more of these start getting popularized, this big crowd will also start entering. People who do not have funds will also try and acquire crypto in some format and become part of the crypto ecosystem. So the game really is playing out in many ways, and I think all these problems are getting solved or are at the cusp of being solved in some form or fashion very soon. Now, what are the uses of crypto, right? So, what do people want to do with cryptos? Most people are using cryptos to buy another crypto. Like you might be using USDT to buy Bitcoin, or you buy, use Bitcoin to buy something else, right? Transfer crypto to an individual. This is a great way to transfer, especially if, let's say your friend lives in Europe, you are living in India. If he owes you money, you can get it transferred in cryptos. Right? That is something that's already happening. People are remittance is a big space, right? People who are working from emerging economies who are working in countries like Middle East, they are transferring their earnings back through cryptos. Their participation in royalty programs, taking or earning or lending to earn a yield, and participating in gaming activities. So these are the reasons why people are sort of getting into the crypto space. But this is an interesting number. 55% of close 56% have are trading in cryptos at least once a week, and that's a huge number, right? At least once a week. And 73% plan to increase their investment in cryptos in the next few years, over the next 5 years. And I've actually seen this. So all those people I have advised to invest in cryptos, after they made their first investment, within probably a month or two, they came back to me and asked me for help with their second investment. Right? So people, once they get into the crypto space, start becoming regular investors in it. And if you look at institutional investors, almost 68% are actively recommending crypto to their clients. Right? And this is, I think, because the clients are asking them for it, and now large banks or wealth management firms have realized that, oh, their clients want it, and they lose their clients to someone else if they don't get into this space. 68% are advising their clients or recommending them on crypto, right? And only 15% are cautiously doing that. And I think about less than 15% do not or don't know enough to do it yet. And the same numbers, if you look at this for institutional, 73% trade at least once a week. 72% of them are looking to increase their investments in crypto within the next 5 years, right? And if you look at this other question, when did you start getting investing in crypto? Um, if you look at the numbers between 6 to 2 years, within the last 6 months or within the last 2 years, that's about 39 plus 27, close to 56% of the folks have started investing in cryptos within the last 2 years. Right? That is a huge number. This means that the number of investors in crypto is just only increasing, right? More than half the people bought a crypto for the first time in the last 2 years. And if you go in institutional investors, that number seems to be a little skewed towards a longer time frame. So it goes between 1 to 5 years, when almost, I think, two-thirds of them have. This is almost 70% actually. 70% have bought their first crypto between 1 to 5 years. So institutions have already gotten into it. Retail investors are getting into it. If you aren't getting into it, then you're probably going to miss the bus. And where are these guys who have bought cryptos want to use it or might likely use it? Then, like, it could be shopping online, buying groceries, dining out, buying cars, jewelries, donating to charity. We have seen these kind of use cases come about. A lot of them are already doing it. Institutions are looking to increase investments, learn more about it, add crypto as a form of investments. We saw, many big banks allowing it in many countries now for their customers to start, holding crypto or buying crypto. right? And definitely, if not anything, all these institutions would be expanding their knowledge base of crypto to help their clients. So even if they don't have a plan to introduce it right now, they are definitely going to be learning about it. So maybe in the future, if they have to, they will try and do that. And if you ask people when do they think crypto will become mainstream, a bulk of them are saying in the next 3 to 5 years, right? So that means if people think that it'll become mainstream in 3 to 5 years, people are going to try and invest well before that, right? Between maybe 1 to 3 years, people will start seriously investing into cryptos because they feel it'll become mainstream by 3 to 5 years, and hence it'll be a great investment for them 2 years or 3 years after they have invested. I belong to this group, though. I think crypto is already mainstream. The number of things that are happening in the world with it is just amazing. So I'm probably part of this 14.5% here on the right. And if we look region wise, what are different regions saying? No. In EU and UK, if you look at trust levels in different countries, right, France is somewhat at the lower end of the trust spectrum, right? And And if you look at knowledge, and I'll tell you why this is important, how much knowledge. The regional average of trust is about 56% in Europe, in EU and in UK. Look at the knowledge level; it is 18% among very knowledgeable. Right? Let's just look at these two numbers, and I'll show you why. Now let's look at this other. Now this is for Latin America, Africa, Middle East. Trust level is 76%, right? In Europe, it was 56%. In Latin America, Africa, and Middle East, it's 76%, right? But look at the number of people who are very knowledgeable. It's almost 30% who think they're very knowledgeable. In Europe and UK, it's 18%. This means that our hypothesis that if your knowledge in cryptos is increasing, and if you're learning more and more about cryptos, it means you start trusting more in cryptos, and hence you'll start making more investments or start utilizing cryptos within your companies, within any use case that might help you or your organizations or your local governments and whatnot around. The same follows across. If you look at various, like this is a common trend within the report that developed countries have a lower trust, lower knowledge base. We saw that Middle East, Latin America, and Africa had almost a 30% of the crowd saying that they're very knowledgeable, but in North America, in US and Canada, that is only 20% are saying that they're very knowledgeable, and hence the trust levels are also lower. This is at 62% compared to 76% for Latin America and Africa and Middle East. If you look at Asia, this is extremely exciting. India is at the top in terms of trust in cryptos in the region of Asia. Japan is at the very bottom of this list. If you look at knowledge levels, the trust in cryptos is 76%. The knowledge in cryptos, people who are saying they're very knowledgeable are about 26% in Asia. Uh, People who are saying they're somewhat knowledgeable is about 43%. So this group together is almost 70%. So that means in countries where you're living, if you're watching it from any of these countries, then people are already learning about it. If you, especially India, look at this. Among retail investors, the most knowledgeable crowd are among the Indians. Right? So if more and more people start learning about it, they're going to get into it. So it's your time to start learning. Easiest way to do that is like and subscribe our channel, watch all our videos. We even have a website called wave33.club, which will which will start as a guide for you if you have never been to if you have no idea of cryptos. That's probably the first place you should start. Right. So what is the future of crypto? Well, the future of crypto, uh, of what Bitstamp at least is trying to do, is that they want to increase trust, awareness, and perception around crypto because it's very clear from the report. If your knowledge of cryptos is increasing, then the trust in it will increase, and thereby investments in it will increase. Right. So that is something that they're trying to do, and that is something I feel that each and every one of us should try and do. This is a race, right, for countries, for individuals. The largest wealth transfer in history is about to happen, and if you are not learning about it today, then you will not trust in it tomorrow, and the day after you will not be investing in it. and probably by a few years you would have missed the bus. So, like and subscribe our channel, and stay tuned for the next episode of Wave. Thank you so much.